7-year-old boy to witness the event in the town square. And then they take him out and throw him in the river. And he couldn't swim, and he'd flounder in the river until he was almost drowning, and then they pull him out of the river, and he never forgot that day. Now I can see from how some of you are squirming, that's a disgusting story. And because it's disgusting, it's possible, because you had that little flurry of emotion, it's possible that when you think about wanting people to remember what you're saying, you might insert a word or two in what you're saying that evokes some little emotion in them. A word like excitement, excited. It's not a word that always shows up when you're writing a paper for your colleagues. But it's a word that would make us respond. And there are many words, many stories you can tell that evoke emotion. But you want the emotion evoked in them. I'm not suggesting that you have a nervous breakdown on stage. You don't have to get emotional. But if you frame what you have to say in ways that evoke a little emotion in them, you have a greater chance of their remembering it and being involved in it. So if you get through those first two things, attraction and infatuation, we want to get to commitment. That's our goal. That's the holy grail. We want them to be totally in love and committed to knowledge about science. It's exciting. It's one of the most beautiful things that humans have to offer one another, is knowledge about nature. What a terrible thing for them to be deprived of. So we want them committed to it. But here's where you can't make it happen unless you're making that kind of contact I was talking about from the very beginning, where you have the ability almost to read the other person's mind. This is something that would... Sean, take this class and walk over to the podium. Just walk. Excellent. Okay, now hold the glass out. Hold it. Okay, hold it like that. Hold as level as you can. All right. Now, put it on the table. Go very carefully. Don't spill a drop, or your entire village will die. Don't drop it. Bravo. Yeah. And that was just Fred. We didn't like it. Thank you very much. That was good. Thank you. Okay, so that's it in a nutshell. You've got to achieve something. Now, even look, let me just ask you, which trip across the stage was more engaging? Right? It was when there was an objective that was important, and the obstacle was not to spill the water, or this horrible thing would happen, even though we all know that there's no village, there's nobody going to die. That just added to the tension of this moment. And when a couple of drops of water spilled over here, everybody gasped, because everybody was involved in this activity. And it's just a story. But this is the story. What you saw is the story of every experiment every scientist does, or every life in science. There's some effort to achieve something really interesting, really important. And the obstacles are innumerable. The experiment doesn't work at first. It's tainted. There's dirt getting into the experiment. All kinds of things go wrong. And you have to overcome them. Or you started off with the wrong idea, the wrong materials. Those blind alleys you hit are important to tell us. That makes it a dramatic story. When when we read about a research report, when we read a research report, we get the results first. We get none of the story. We get none of the blind alleys. Usually, I don't remember reading many blind alleys. But when we're talking to, what a flame was, and I said to a teacher, "What's going on in the flame? It's so interesting." And the teacher said, "It's oxidation." It was no good. That's all she said. I didn't know what she was talking about. So now, decades later, I started a contest in Science magazine called the Flame Challenge. And the idea of the contest was for scientists to explain a flame so that an 11-year-old would understand it. And 11-year-olds from all over the world were the judges. Now, this is our 4th year. Each year the question changes. This year the question is, what is sleep? And that question came from real 11-year-olds. So we're asking you, if you're interested in challenging yourself with science communication, join this contest. There's a $1,000 prize. There's 2 categories, one written, one video. The person who won last year, Diana Cowan, was working on a project at this university. Is that your project? It's look it up at flamechallenge.org. Look up all of the winning entries because they're so good, they're so imaginative. Now, I'm asking you to think about this because you're interested in communication, not because you're an expert in sleep. You can get up on what's known about sleep because you're smart, you can do that rapidly. But what you're being tested on is not your knowledge, it's your ability to communicate to